Okay, in starting chapter 3, in section 1, we're going to look at parallel lines and transversals. So the first part that we're going to look at is really identifying the relationship between parallel lines and skew lines and parallel planes. And then in the second part, we'll look at naming different angle pairs that are formed by parallel lines and transversals. The second part is what we'll really use more throughout this entire chapter. Okay, but first dealing with the relationship of parallel lines, skew lines, and parallel planes. So first one, parallel lines. These are coplanar lines that do not intersect. Skew lines are lines that do not intersect and are not coplanar. And then parallel planes, planes that do not intersect. These can be kind of difficult to kind of understand, so hopefully can make them a little bit more make sense as we go through these. So parallel lines, we're saying, are coplanar lines, meaning that they lie in the same plane, but do not intersect. So just to give you a picture on here, here are two planes, this pink plane and this blue plane. Those are parallel planes. They're not intersecting. And then I actually have some parallel lines on here as well. Actually, I can make a whole bunch of parallel lines in doing this. So let's actually do that really quick. So I'm going to suggest that all of these lines are actually parallel to each other, whether you believe it or not. So first things first, these lines need to be coplanar. Okay, well, these two lines on the pink plane, those are coplanar. They're both on the pink plane. So that means that they're coplanar and they're not intersecting. So that means that they have to be parallel to each other. I'm also going to suggest that these two lines on the pink plane are also parallel with the line on the blue plane. Maybe a little bit harder to understand, but they are also going to be coplanar, because I can make a plane that really goes through those two lines. Notice that now both of those lines are contained on this other blue plane that's going vertical. So that means that those two lines are still parallel. And another type of line that we have are called skew lines. Go back to the definition. Skew lines are lines that do not intersect and are not coplanar. So they are not going to be on the same plane, and they're not going to intersect. So a good example is going to be this picture right here. Notice how I have two lines, DE and CB. They're on different planes, and those are not intersecting. They're not parallel either. There's no way for me that there's no way to connect those two lines. They're not intersecting. They're not parallel, anything like that. So we would call those skew lines. We're going to take that idea and look at a couple examples. Okay, so let's look at letter A on here. All segments parallel to JP. There are two more. One of them would be KG, and another one would be LR. Okay, letter B says A segment skew to KL. I'm actually going to name all of them. One of them that is skew is going to be JP. Notice how it goes in a completely different direction. It's not parallel. It's not intersecting. They're on different planes. So that would be a skew line. Another one would be PQ. And then there's one more, and it is PR. And then finally, letter C, a plane that is parallel to plane PQR. Notice that that one's the one on the bottom. The plane parallel to it has to be the one on top, JKL. I'll do one more because it uses a different shape. We're going to look at now all segments that are skew to BC. There are four of them. Okay, one of them is going to be this one here in front, AF. That's going to be skew to BC. Notice it's on a different plane, not intersecting, not parallel. Another one, pretty close to it, is DE. Another segment that's going to be skewed to BC is going to be FG down here at the bottom. And then finally, last one would be HE. Those would all be skew to BC. 1B, a segment parallel to EH. I'm going to name them all. One of them is CD. Another one, AB. And then finally, FG. And then finally, all planes parallel to plane DCH. Notice DCH here is on the side. We want plane ABG.